feel, brother? Feeling good. You feel good? Feeling good. Improving. Ain't so much bone, brother. How you feel, man? I feel all right. I call your name. I don't want no people to know you're in here. How you feel, fella? Hey, yeah. Sure getting down. We gotta take you higher. Ow. All right. I'm gonna do it again.
Hi, this is Sherita, and I'm actually sitting here in my home office coming to you from Marina Del Rey. And couldn't make it into the station today, trying to leave town in the morning. Got to speak in Vegas with a lot of wonderful speakers that I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm going to CEO Space in Henderson, Nevada, where there's going to be more than 140 other there's thousands of organizations that attend CEO Space, attending from more than 140 other countries. And so this week at CEO Space, and including myself, we're talking about Les Brown. We're talking about George Frazier. Bernie Dorman is the founder of CEO Space. Hugh Ballou, Ed Bogle. There's just so many that are there. And so if you miss it this week, which is our holiday forum, make sure that you come and catch it in March. Okay? So this is Sherita with Drive Time, and we're going to be talking to you today about our program. It's called Collaborative 360. And what is Collaborative 360? That's where I'm working with organizations all over the globe, helping them to build the capacity of who they are, what they do, and their programs and services so that they can start serving community on a broader scale. We're talking about not only nonprofits, but entrepreneurs, small businesses, schools, cancer organizations, just all kinds of, we're crossing industries to start making more of a difference in our communities. And so that being said, I'm going to go to my screen and I want to show you some things. So give me a moment. I'm new at doing this from home in my office. And so hold on, let me get to my PowerPoint. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day and also a wonderful holiday season. Let me just get to my PowerPoint here. And then I'm going to try and do something magical for me. I'm going to try and share my screen when I get this going. You know, while I'm waiting on this to come up, a lot has been going on since my last show. We've been watching what's been going on with Ferguson, Missouri. There's a lot happening as far as the African American communities and law enforcement. What recently happened in New York City, just a lot of things. And so my upcoming shows, we're going to be talking about that. I'm going to have some special guests on talking about how do they feel about what's going on in our communities and how do we start bridging that gap between law enforcement and community. What's going on? Why are these instances, why do they keep arising? And so, let's see, I've got so much going on with my computer, it has me going just a little slow. So, let's see, I'm going to switch, go to my screen. I'm going to share my screen. My grandson is in here and he's not doing his homework. Okay, so you guys should see my screen now, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, yes. My engineer, shake your head if you see my screen. Okay. Good, I did it right. I did it right. Okay. I want to talk to you about, it's called the BIG Project. And BIG stands for Bridging Individuals Globally. Now, so I ask, what do Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Ted Turner, Mark Zuckerberg, and 100 plus other billionaires all have in common with our project, which is the BIG Project? They all recognize that the nonprofit industry and corporate consciousness is the new business chic. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, remember when for the longest time people didn't want to be associated with nonprofit? A lot of the organizations that you used on a daily basis, didn't even realize that they were nonprofit. And now nonprofit people like to say that they're nonprofit or involved for a cause. There's even been movies about paying it forward because people see the importance of making a difference in their communities. So that's what I mean when I say nonprofit is the new business chic. Recently on 60 Minutes, that right now they were reported that the wealthiest 400 Americans are worth over 2 trillion. It's been reported that let's see that they own as much wealth as the bottom half of American households. So it turns out that a lot of these rich individuals are giving staggering sums of money away. It's called the Giving Pledge. And if you would like to see that, you can go to thegivingpledge.org. Again, it is thegivingpledge.org. And now 100 plus billionaires, they have signed a pledge where they're giving 50 to 90% of their wealth away to the nonprofit arena. And you can see more about that at thegivingpledge.org. Now, why are they doing that? Because there's still a return on their investment. Do you know that they're getting such a great return with the write-offs? See, versus I'm sorry, an individual that is a angel investor or just a regular investor, their return on their investment, oftentimes they have shares or whatever that they will get back from that company. But with a nonprofit investor, which is a donor or a grant funder, when they give to a nonprofit, the return on their investment is the write-off. And so I don't know if you recall, but Bill Gates was asking the government to take more taxes from him. And and of course that didn't happen. And probably a lot of his other rich friends were saying that they were probably telling him to shut his mouth. So anyway, because he wanted that to happen, he and Bill Gates got together and they started the Giving Pledge. And so when you go to the Giving Pledge website, it looks like this, and you can just kind of hover over and click on one of the names. And when you click on it, then it shows you what they're giving. So when they were doing the interview on 60 Minutes, someone asked, well, what should regular folks do? You know, those folks that are not the Bill and Melinda and Warren Buffett, what do they do? And so Melinda said, well, identify what you're passionate about and do a little at a time. We all didn't start out as billionaires. So when I talk to people about what is your passion, how do you get started, this is what I'm talking about. As a matter of fact, on December 28th, I'm doing a special workshop in Kansas City just for my family, showing them how every profession that they're in, whether you're a barber, minister, choir, collecting rocks even, that there are grants for you to even start community programs in exactly what your passion is. Sarah Blakely, she's actually the founder of Spanx, and let me just kind of move my screen a little bit. She's a multi-million dollar undergarment company, and she is the world's youngest self-made female millionaire. And so she was talking about how she at first didn't think that she would have been where she is now, but she just decided on something and went for it. Okay. So also with more and more corporations, celebrities, and professional athletes involving themselves in this $1 trillion industry, they realize that paying it forward not only feels good, it builds health, wealth, and prosperity for brighter futures. So Forbes, their last issue last year, they called it the golden age of philanthropy. And why is that? It's because more and more individuals, whether they're celebrities, athletes, small business owners, whatever, they're finding that they want to pay it forward. They want to do more to make a difference in community. The article even said, the magazine said, entrepreneurs can save the world. Governments can't erase poverty, nor can big corporations. So they're showing you how individuals like us and the athletes and celebrities, if we don't step in and do something, who else is going to make that difference? So I'm showing you here the different ones that are involved. And Rock, what are you doing? So Big, our program Big, we're raising the corporate consciousness of the world while making a difference. Through the art of strategic alliances, BIG's objective is to effectively form strong collaborations that will collectively operate beyond borders and across industries. We're going to be expanding businesses, creating jobs, providing resources, and impacting lives all over the world. Now, if you'd like to see right now something about our program, then you can go to our website at kifoundation.org. That's kifoundation.org. And you will see a tab that says C360. C360. And you can read more about that after I go off the air. So, how will Big accomplish all of what I'm saying that we're going to do? Well, through our program, again, C360. C360, we're going to be providing 360 degrees of wraparound business development, services, and continual support. It's a unique enterprise that is crossing businesses, industries, cultures, ethnicities, and geographic boundaries. No matter where you are in the world, you can become a part of Collaborative 360. Whether you're in Africa, matter of fact, we have organizations now in Africa, the Caribbean, Utah, Kansas, all over. Okay? And what our goal is to bring health, wealth, and continuity to communities all over the globe. So this monumentous enterprise is projected to collaborate with thousands of individuals and organizations while impacting countless program participants by 2016. So still the question is, how will it be accomplished? Well, let's see. Though I and my company that I created, we've coached and collaborated with thousands of nonprofits and small businesses. Since 1994, we've been operating, and we've been operating in more than 14 countries. We've aided in raising over 30 million. But there's still a high percentage of our clients and affiliates that still they're barely operating, because once we develop the organizations, it's like any small business. If you're not sure how to move it forward, then your organization is not going to grow and you're not going to touch as many lives. So many of them, they're operating in scarcity or sitting dormant because of the lack of knowledge. And that's one of the main reasons why we started Collaborative 360. Now, also, my company, we interact with hundreds of celebrities, professional athletes, political leaders, small businesses, entrepreneurs, and others on a monthly basis. And they too are operating singularly. Everyone is operating and doing things on their own. And so I call them splintered services. And in addition, I, along with my organization have been honored. We've been honored for a lot of different things, but I'm saying all that to say none of it makes a difference if we cannot all come together and make a difference in our communities. Okay. And so just some of the things that I have been doing, just to show you some of the individuals that are going to start to be involved with the program. I wanted to show you that just some of the things that I've accomplished that can help us to start working collectively together. So, for instance, I was honored with the honor to be in a magazine with First Lady Michelle Obama and a few others, Suze Orman, and so many others. And also, I've coached one of the ambassadors of the UN, Ambassador Byron Blake. I've also run for office here in Los Angeles. So I'm just giving you some of my background to show you what I've been doing and what's making me have the experience to do what I'm talking about doing with Collaborative 360. I recently coached Hilary Swank and her lawyer. She's interested in starting a nonprofit. I speak with hundreds of others at the forum where I'm going tomorrow, CEO Space. I've also been to Trinidad and Tobago, working with community programs to help impact the youth of Trinidad. Following Hurricane Katrina and Rita, my organization developed the only housing database for Hurricane Katrina victims and Rita victims. And I coach law firms all over the world, helping them to also work with their clients to develop nonprofits. And we've broken a record. We've gotten nonprofits approved in as quickly as 19 days through the IRS. Recently, I worked with one of my clients. He's a large developer, or was. I regret to say that he recently passed away. Rodney Shepard had an organization called RSS Development, and he didn't realize that he could also have a nonprofit. And so we formed his nonprofit, And through that, we also helped him to get a $14 million grant that is going to help develop projects in Watts, California for manufacturing. Worked with the former NFL great Jim Brown and Bootsy Collins, helped them to form a collaboration that's going to work on empowering youth. And then was honored downtown at City Hall. Also developed and taught a program in the prison, Chino, helping guys connect to services when they got out of prison. And it was called the Prison to Prosperity Project. And we helped to reduce that recidivism rate by 75%. Also working with Skid Row, which is working with the homeless downtown Los Angeles. And also the widower of Medgar Evers, helped her to get her nonprofit up and going and coached her for board development. And just on and on, worked with Jalen Rose, the ad hoc committee, South Coast Air District. And then we formed over 600 organizations. And these are just a few of them. The Voices of African Women and Children, Restore the Earth Foundation. Now, this organization, following what went on with the Gulf Coast and the oil spill, Restore the Earth now is one of the nonprofits that we developed, and they've planted over 1 million trees along the Gulf Coast and help preserve the natural habitat following Hurricane Katrina. We formed a nonprofit called Help that's putting water towers in China. GPT is bringing Chinese college students to the U.S. and helping with cultural awareness, race relations. And again, we formed the Bootsy Collins Foundation. We've worked on organizations. This is called Glory House. We formed this nonprofit that's helping with the Haiti population. Dr. Anthony Samad and the Breakfast Forums. The Inventors Club of Kansas City, we formed their nonprofit. The legendary medalist Carl Lewis. Music organization with Golden Way Foundation, the Bill Duke Foundation. We helped him secure $100,000 so that he could work with young people in film projects in inner city Los Angeles. And this is a disability program in Wisconsin. The Minority Photojournalism Institute we formed with the legendary Haywood Galbraith, who was the only African-American photographer on the O.J. Simpson trial. The legendary actress Tippi Hedren, also well known for her role acting in The Birds with how can I forget his name? Alfred Hitchcock. And then HOOF, Horse One-to-One Outreach Foundation, is a nonprofit that we developed that's focused on helping horses. The Mouth Foundation is providing dental services to low-income individuals. And this organization, which is now called the College Expo, it was the Black College Expo, and it was founded by Teresa Price and has operated all over the country. Bright Earth Solutions is helping with our ecosystems in South America. The Janssen Foundation is helping orphans in Mazatlan, Mexico. The new foundation is implementing agricultural programs in Africa. Bring on the Music is designed to bring music awareness to youth. And then I also have been the director of the Weingart YMCA, which is an amazing facility that also played a significant role in the upbringing of my 2 sons. And as a single mother, so it really made a difference in our lives. My motto is Yo-Yo, and that stands for You Are Your Only Limitation. And I was there with the children and gave them Yo-Yo bracelets and just had a really great time at camp. Beyond the Mic is a nonprofit that we developed, and it's helping minorities go into the movie industry. Divine Nature is an organization that we developed in Hawaii. So again, all of these different organizations, some have already come under our umbrella of the C360 program, but it's letting you know how vast we already are as far as our contacts all over the globe. And so by becoming a part of C360, that too will help you become a national and international organization and collaborate with the organizations that are under the umbrella of C360. United Latinos in America is an organization that's helping minority families with their employment skills and helping breaking down language barriers. King Solomon's Humanitarians is purpose is to aid the development of education and more for African children in Sierra Leone. And then I helped to develop the Power Collaborative back in 2001. Now, in addition to that, I am a speaker and I speak to audiences all over the world. I also teach board development, corporate governance. Okay, so this is just showing various areas where I speak. Okay, so what I'm doing is anytime when you too are going to be developing your programs and services, you have to be able to validate who you are. What experience are you bringing to the table? And that's what I'm doing when I'm talking to you about the ability of the C360 program. Now, here is where I was speaking with our former governor, Gray Davis, and we were speaking at Mark Ridley Thomas's Empowerment Congress. I also have spoken in Kansas City, Missouri at the Arrowhead Stadium, the Power Networking Conference with the legendary George Fraser and Les Brown, and then just on various radio shows. I did a 2-year show in Kansas City, Missouri with KGGN Radio. I also, and I had various individuals on my show, which is Jim Brown, the legendary Jim Brown. Also Stephen J. Peck, who runs the largest veterans organization in the United States. But a little bit more history about Stephen Peck. He is actually the son of the legendary actor Gregory Peck. And then Emmanuel Cleaver, which is the congressman, the Democratic congressman out of Kansas City, Missouri, has also been on my show. The vice president of Walgreens, and actually Mr. Lewis, Randy Lewis, he's also is very instrumental in advancing the programs for disabled, employing the disabled within Walgreens. And he shared the story about his son that is autistic and talked about one of his greatest fears was the fact that what would happen to his son if he or his wife were no longer here. And so it was pressing upon him to develop employment opportunities for the disabled so that they could become gainfully employed also. And with the advancement of his goal with that, Walmart is, I think, if unless something has changed, the largest employer of disabled employees in the United States. Bill Duke is a world-renowned director and actor, and we actually, like I said earlier, we secured $100,000 for Bill Duke to develop a film project in inner city Los Angeles with a charter school called Educating Young Minds. Also on my show was Bootsy Collins, and again, the legendary actress, Tippi Hedren, Eddie Griffin, which is the very, very funny comedian, Michael Collier, and again, Ambassador Byron Blake. And the Nobel Prize winner is Dr. John Stone, and he was also featured on a movie with the former Vice President Al Gore for the work that they're doing in environmental awareness. And the Dallas Cowboys star, Mr. Brady James, and Les Brown. And so I'm just showing all across the country also. I've been on the air on radio shows across the world. This is also in Trinidad on Jagardi, I think it's called Jagardi Radio. So again, I'm just showing, validating what you can also obtain as far as being under the Collaborative 360, how you can be a part of a lot of what we're already doing. Instead of reinventing the wheel, you would benefit from what we're already doing with the organization. So I'm going to skip on past all of these. And I want to take you to what the program now entails. So What I'm saying here is, even with all of this, it absolutely means nothing if something more is not done. At the end of the day, my question has always been, how do we link all of my networks and resources with all of my other connections along with all of our abilities? So for those of you that are listening, if there's some things that you've been wanting to do, how do I connect you with us? We all collaborate so that it strengthens all of us to move forward and help our program participants. And again, how's that going to happen? Through our big program, and the Collaborative 360 program. So beginning in 2014, we launched big, and there's going to be 5 core components. That's Collaborative 360, the International Grant Writers Registry, our iCare project, Mayors in Action project, and our Independent Intern project. And these are the core things falling under the umbrella. Okay, so let's move on past that. I want to now show you some additional things. So the big project is offering opportunities like never before. And I say, why now? Well, it has been reported that the world's millionaire ranks will soar through 2020. So that means that more and more people are getting richer every single day, more and at a quicker rate than ever in recorded history. Okay. So then you ask, well, how is that possible with us recovering from a global recession? Well, now think about it. Recession or hard times is what helps individuals get busy. So if you look back in the history to the 1930s, not everyone suffered during the Great Depression. More people became millionaires in America during this time than in any other time in history. Okay. So why is that? Well, opportunities that were not present during the 1920s, economic boom times, suddenly became available. So, more now than ever before, individuals, small businesses, entrepreneurs, and nonprofits are looking for new and unique ways to sustain their businesses, programs, and services. The recent down economy initiated new patterns of strategic planning. So how can C360 work with for-profits, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, etc.? Well, first of all, what's the as far as for-profit or nonprofit? Do you know the difference? And you got to excuse this text. My text is kind of off here, but I ask you, okay, what is the NFL? Is it a for-profit or a nonprofit? It's a nonprofit. Even though the NFL league is considered a nonprofit organization, even though the NFL makes over $9 billion a year in profits, spends over $1.1 million in lobbying, and makes roughly $250 million from the Super Bowl alone. Mozilla is a nonprofit. And they say we're a nonprofit organization that believes the web should be open, accessible, transparent, safe, and most of all, a force for the good of humanity. So then collaborative opportunities. Now I'm showing you this because most people don't realize that for-profits and nonprofits have been collaborating almost since the beginning of time. Well, stop that. So why? I'm sorry. My grandson is in here with me and he was messing with my camera. So I'm showing you here how the Girl Scouts, a well-known example of cross-industry collaboration is the Girl Scouts, who uses licensing arrangements with a consortium of bakers to bake and distribute their famous cookies. Well, even though the Girl Scouts is a nonprofit, they're collaborating and hiring for-profit companies to bake their cookies. So even though many of us eat those Girl Scout cookies, we didn't think about that is a for-profit, nonprofit collaboration. And there are so many others and opportunities. But first, who should be involved? And I say everyone. And what do I mean by that? Well, just like here, you've got from a contractor or to a nursing assistant, doctors, even a soccer coach, let's say. There's various ways for cross collaboration. Now, even here, the yoga instructor, I'm going to show you how there's grants for no matter what the profession. Okay. So including a dog walker. Do you know that now most people would think that a dog walker could not get grant dollars or become a nonprofit. But as that person, as she's walking those dogs, you best believe that she has walked past several homes where either there's someone in there that's sick or disabled, but they have a dog and would need to have their dog walked. Well, if if she had that opportunity where grants were covering her costs, then she could walk the dogs of those individuals that need her services but normally could not afford it. Now, even someone that may have horses or a lot of land, there's opportunities for you to collaborate to bring youth programs there or seniors. And because look at how many individuals never even get out of the city. Even someone as far as a masseuse. Now, there's probably a lot of masseuses that right now, even in this economy, have had some financial troubles, but they didn't realize that grants could help cover their costs. They could even start teaching parents, go to childcare centers and through parenting classes, show parents how to massage their children, like if they can't relax. Or even masseuse could go into hospitals. And you know how a lot of people are sitting in the hospital and they have those things on their legs that are squeezing their legs to death? I mean, squeezing them to keep them from getting like blood clots. Well, how nice would it be for grants to cover the cost of masseuse to go into the hospitals and do that and provide that service? Because also you have some people that no one is visiting them in the hospital. Wouldn't that also help combat loneliness and depression? So I'm even showing you here where there's grants even if you collect rocks. Yes, if you collect rocks. So for instance, I'm showing here how here's a child that's picking up rocks. Well, obviously he must be intrigued by them. And so if you start teaching young people about rocks, the different kinds of rocks, the different large rocks formations that are all over the world, there's even grants where you could take youth to those rock formations. And buttons, yes, even if you collect buttons, there's grant money for it. Do you know that actually there's history behind buttons? When buttons were first discovered, the Crusaders were doing what they do. They were crusading and they ran into the Turks and the Mongols. And the Turks and Mongols had these little things on their clothes that were adorning their clothes, and the Crusaders wanted to know what those were. Well, it ended up that they brought them back to England and it started a whole industry and started the button guild. And and then now we're talking about the button, but it also goes into socioeconomic status. If you were a peasant, you can only wear the wooden buttons. So it's you were measured by your socioeconomic status by the kind of buttons that you could wear. Those that were of higher social status could wear glass buttons and gold buttons and decorated buttons. And then it doesn't stop there. When women started wearing buttons down the front of their dress, then the religious leaders started saying that that was the devil's snare. So now behind buttons, we're talking about history, we're talking about geography, race relations, cultural awareness, and even religious tolerance, all behind the button. So tell me that there's no grant money for that, right? Now, and then Bootsy Collins, when we developed his nonprofit, he was going to name it the Bootsy Collins Music Foundation. And I encouraged him not to do that because Bootsy was already involved in so many other things besides music. He was already empowering youth. So if you name your organization something that locks you into one particular area, it's kind of hard to now remove yourself from that brand. Well, it's good that we ended up naming it just the Bootsy Collins Foundation because a few months later, Bootsy's nephew died of an abscess on his tooth. And now Bootsy has stepped into also providing services and outreach and education on the importance of dental hygiene. And we helped him collaborate as far as with an organization, the Mouth Foundation here in California. So again, Bootsy's in Cincinnati. The Mouth Foundation is in California. So what I'm saying to you is there are opportunities for you to collaborate not only locally, but city to city, state to state, and country to country. Just like this. Okay? So see how he's collaborating from Ohio to California with the Mouth Foundation. So what are opportunities that you could be taking advantage of? Not only should you be looking at how to collaborate locally, but with the power of the internet, and now with all of us already reaching individuals globally, why not have your business and services do the same? There's even funding for comedy and laughter and comedians. A friend of mine, Michael Collier, is a well-known comedian, and we formed the Michael Collier Foundation, and he is now even going into the prisons and helping the prisoners to laugh. He has even recently received a letter from the warden talking about how it has changed the environment of inside the prison following him going there. And he also has gone to Iraq and helped our soldiers to laugh. Okay. And here's an organization that funds for that. The Hearst Foundation funds for laughter. So BIG's collaborative efforts will be fully committed to the advancement of our affiliates to ensure vital resources and services are available for those that need them most. How will this happen? The time is right to pay it forward. So an example would be the advancement of the ICP program. And this is a program, and let's see, is for the disenfranchised that have many faces and shapes and sizes, ethnicities, and needs. So I'm showing you how the I Care project, which is the ICP, is going to be able to reach out and help individuals of all walks of life. And what is that? How often have you walked outside of a store and someone is asking you for some change and you wish that you could actually do more than just give them change? Well, we're developing the I Care project that, let's see, even this individual, look at what he's saying. Help, I need money for weed. Now, who would make a doggone sign like that? But obviously, this guy needs more help than just money for weed to even make a sign like that. So the I Care project is helping individuals no matter where they are as far as in their thinking, their mental capacity, or whatever. So when giving spare change isn't enough, what do? Well, we're going to have the I Care project. Wow, I can't believe how that text is all off. But the I Care project is where you will be able to give an individual a card, and it will have an 800 number for them to receive services from wherever they are. So now, if you're wanting to be a part of the C360 program, it's only $75 a month. It saves you thousands. And what it will do is, let me show you the benefits of it. With C360, you will receive personalized, optimal business coaching and management support for less than $1,000 a year. That's only $900 a year, which is $75 a month. And this, what you receive is a minimum of 2 training seminars per month, and that's via webinar or Skype. Also, the training includes grant procurement. We're going to identify the grant funders and write the grants for you. You'll receive grant writing services, like I said, plus personalized C360 webpage, a discount on our services, and access to our grant registry. Okay? So what will you do? Are you going to be a part of something big? So, when I'm talking about this program, I can't help but wonder, what else can I do to help individuals to move their programs forward? So I'm going to try and come back out of my screen here. And let's see. Am I on? Let's see. I am on. Oh, you see me now. Okay, well, good. Well, I hope that you've learned a lot today with me talking about not only what I've done as far as the programs and services that I've provided, but the individuals, the different nonprofits that are operating all over the world, from China to Sierra Leone, from New York to Los Angeles. We're touching lives all over the globe, and you can do that too. You don't have to be a nonprofit. You don't even have to already have a business. All you have to do is have a desire to want to make a difference in your community. What is a cause that you've wanted to champion, but you just have not known the direction to go? Well, if you'd like to know more, go to my website at kifoundation.org. That's kifoundation.org, and click on the tab that says C360. That stands for Collaborative 360. And what is Collaborative 360? Again, that's where we are crossing industries, programs, services, ethnicity, and we're providing 360 degrees of wraparound services and business development. Now, that 365 also stands for that we are only accepting 365 individuals or businesses from, from across the globe. So don't miss out. Again, if you want to know more about that, go to our website at kifoundation.org. That's kifoundation.org. And click on the tab that says C360. Now, also, we send out free grant information weekly. While you're there on the website, don't miss out on signing up for that either. If you go to the tab that says free grant info, go there, complete the information, and you'll receive the free grant information that we send out weekly. Okay? So while you're on the website, just continue to kind of move around on those tabs and look at all the other things that we're doing also. We have board development and corporate governance. Now, what is that? Well, board development and corporate governance, that's where an organization, if they're giving dollars to your business, they want to know how is your business being governed? Is there someone that's watching you how you're spending their money? And so that's why when an organization or even an investor, when they give to you, they want to know what kind of corporate governance do you have in place? And so if you do not have an adequate board of directors, if you are not holding board meetings, many people don't even realize if you're a corporation in the United States, you must be holding board meetings. It is required. And so if you are not, do you know that if for any reason, if your company is sued, that and if they find that you have not been operating as a corporation, you can actually be reclassified as a sole proprietor and all of your personal assets can be attached. Okay? So it's very important to understand corporate governance and how your board should operate so that you can make sure that you're operating in compliance. If you have any other questions, again, by being on our free email list, by enrolling there at the free grant info at kifoundation.org, you will also know when I'm facilitating any kinds of workshops so that when I'm teaching about corporate governance and board development or nonprofit development or even grant writing, you will always know. Okay? So make sure that you go to the website and get enrolled for that. What else? There's so much that I had wanted to talk about. My engineer, Rod, you're crazy. I'm gonna stop looking. I wish I didn't have to look at you because then I keep laughing. Um, let's see. Also, I'm going to be in Kansas City. So if you're in the Kansas City area, then stay tuned because I'm going to be sending out a website, an email. Make sure you're on the email list so that you can get the information. I'm going to be facilitating a grant writing workshop coming up soon in Kansas City, Missouri, so that if you're on my e-list, you will know whether I'm going to be in Kansas City or a city near you. Just like I'm going to be in Vegas tomorrow and Kansas City in a couple of weeks, and I'll be going back to Chicago, Illinois. So just stay tuned by being on my free email list and you will know what's going on with that. So I'm going to now check and see. I'm going to look at my emails. 1 second. Let's see. Okay. Okay. This is Byron in Tennessee, and Byron is asking if I have never owned a business. If I have never owned a business, can I start a nonprofit? Oh, of course. Yes, Byron, you can. I mean, you when you're starting a nonprofit, there's no questionnaire or application that you must fill out that ask those kinds of questions about whether you've been a business owner or not. What they want to make sure of is that whatever program and service that you're wanting to develop, or nonprofit, that the services are needed and that you're going to be making a difference in someone's life. So it is not required that you have already been a business owner, even though you are a business owner once you develop your nonprofit. Okay, let's see, what else do we have here? Joyce in Kalamazoo, Michigan is asking, how long does it take to get a grant? Well, you know, Joyce, in Kalamazoo, it depends on the grant funder. All grant funders are different. Some grant funders, they state on their guidelines that there are no deadlines and you can submit at any time. And even when you do that, they will let you know that whether it's going to be 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever, they let you know on their guidelines. And then you may find another grant funder and they don't fund until January, and they may say that their funding proposals are opening in January with the deadline on February 7th, looking to fund by April 10th. They let you know based on their guidelines. All grant funders are different, and nothing dictates what a grant funder, how they fund, except them. There's no guidelines that's put out by the IRS that all grant funders have to fund during this time or this time. No, that's not the case. They're just like investors, and they can fund in whichever way that they want with their particular dollars. Okay, and so let's see. Let me go. Alice in Los Angeles says, if my corporation is suspended, if my corporation is suspended, can I still operate my business? Well, you know, Alice, there's forms that you would fill out to get your corporation back reinstated. You will probably have to, depending on, is it a corporation, is it a nonprofit organization, or is it a regular corporation that's, a for-profit business? Either way, you would need to complete a document at the Secretary of State, and it's called a revivership. And that's how you can get your corporation off of suspension. And it's normally like $50, and you can pay that and get it back off suspension. Now, if you are a tax exempt organization, you need to operate very quickly and get that suspension off so that it doesn't also suspend your tax exemption with the IRS. And so you normally can get that done. If you go to the Secretary of State's website, there's all the forms there. Go under forms and publications, and there's a form that you fill out called a revivership. And they will probably, depending on how long it's suspended, you also may have to fill out a form with the Franchise Tax Board, and so that you can get that lifted. Okay? It is not permanent, though. You don't have to worry about that. That is something that you won't be able to take care of. That's why they have the form, because it is something that you can get reversed. Okay? Let's see. Let's see if I have time for one more. Okay. Jimmy in Seal Beach says, how long does it take to develop the nonprofit and to get a grant? Well, I've answered that about the grant already. It just depends on the grant funder and their guidelines. But as far as the nonprofit, like I was saying earlier in the show, we've gotten them approved in as quickly as 19 business days. Our average is 30 to 90 days. But also, the IRS, when you call their office, they may tell you that it's taking them, that there's a 2-year waiting time. But we have never taken that long. Thank God that we've gotten them approved. Our average, again, is 30 to 90 days. The reason why they say that is because oftentimes they're having to reject the paperwork. They keep sending it back for whatever reason. So there's a back and forth that keeps happening. But hopefully you want to try and make it that first pass to prevent that back and forth. So I hope that answered your question. Let me take one more. Okay, we've got Mandy in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And Well, part of the question is she's asking about developing the nonprofit. I've answered that. And the other, a couple of typos. Mandy, ah, nonprofit, for-profit umbrella. How do you can't have a nonprofit, for-profit umbrella. If you have the umbrellas like this, one has to be separate, one has to be a for-profit, one has to be a nonprofit. It cannot go like this and one under the other, whether it's the for-profit up here or the nonprofit up here. They cannot exist that way because the IRS has to know who to tax and who not to tax. So they must exist separately like this. And then one, now they can collaborate. You can have different programs and services, but they're two separate corporations, two separate umbrellas. So if you're thinking that one can be under the other, that cannot happen, Mandy. And I can't kind of understand how you wrote the rest of this, but if that's not clear and you have another question, please type another question and send it, and I will address it on our show next week. This is Sherita Herring with Drive Time out of Los Angeles, California, and I'm looking forward to you guys being with me next week. I'm so happy that you joined me today. I hope that you learned a lot about our C360 program and just all of the opportunities that exist for you by coming under our umbrella. Okay? So again, have an absolutely wonderful week. This is a wonderful holiday season. I hope that all of you are enjoying it, even those of you that are in the snow. So have a great evening, and I will see you next week.
Hit it. Oh, how you feel, brother? Feeling good. You feel good? Feeling good. It's groovy. Play so much bone, brother. How you feel, man? I feel all right. I call your name. I don't want no people to know you're in here. How you feel, fella? Hey, Jam! Sure getting down. We gotta take you higher. Ow! All right. You wanna do it again? You wanna do it again, huh? Yeah, let's go on back. We gotta take you higher.
Power Lunch with Sherita J. If we could get more people to collaborate with our nonprofits, we could be bringing a lot more programs back to our schools, because there's grants where there's been a music program or an arts program or fine language program cut. There's grants where individuals can bring those programs into the schools and collaborate. So that's why I never shut up about this. And C360. That stands for Collaborative 360, and that's where we've launched a program where we are identifying the grant funders and writing the grants for our affiliates.